A New York State Residency Audit will review if a taxpayer accurately filed a New York State tax return as a part year or non-resident of New York State. Most often, these reviews occur when a taxpayer maintains living quarters in New York State while claiming to be a resident of another state. New York State has two rules in which you will be considered a resident of New York State. You can be considered a domicile of New York State, or you can be considered a statutory resident of New York State. The domicile is a person's home. You can only have one domicile. If you claim to have changed your domicile to another state, you must clearly establish that you have abandoned one domicile and established a new domicile in another state. You may be considered a domicile of New York State if you maintain living quarters in New York State and are physically present in New York State for more than 30 days. In reviewing the domicile of an individual, New York State utilizes 5 primary factors in determining a person's domicile. This is not a simple check-the-box test. It's more of a weighted balance. The 5 primary factors are: 1, the residence. The size, value, and use of the residence will be compared with the state of domicile in New York State. Active business involvement. How active are you involved in the business in New York State versus the state you're claiming to be a domicile in? Time. You must clearly establish that you have spent more time in the state you claim to be a domicile than New York State. It is best done in blocks of time rather than coming back and forth between the state of domicile and New York State. 4th is family. Where are your spouse and minor children located? That should be in the state in which you're claiming to be a domicile. The 5th is the items of near and dear. It's sort of silly, but those are the things that are most important in your life, and they should be located in the place you're claiming to be a domicile. In changing your domicile, it's best established when coinciding with an event. Events can include purchasing a new residence in another state and significantly using that residence, retiring from your job or transitioning your business if you're in ownership in that business, and the minor children moving out of your primary residence. In addition to the 5 primary factors, New York State will also review secondary factors. However, they will not be given as much weight. Some secondary factors include obtaining a driver's license in the state of domicile, obtaining voter's registration in the state of domicile, where's the location of your primary care physician, having the address on the most important documents indicate that your state of domicile, non-resident and resident status of clubs, and the location of your autos and boats and the insurance on those items, as well as the New York State Star exemption and Florida homestead exemption. If you are considered a domicile in another state, you can still be considered a resident of New York State under the statutory residency rules. The statutory residency rules are: if you maintain living quarters in New York State and are physically present in New York State for 183 days or more, you can be considered a statutory resident of New York State. Please note that 1 minute will equal 1 day. Even though you may be considered a non-resident of New York State by the rules of domicile and statutory residency, you still may be taxed in New York State on earned income in New York State, rental income from properties located in New York State, if you are an owner in a pass-through entity and they allocate income to New York State, if that pass-through entity sells assets that are located in New York State, as well as selling real estate in New York State, you may still pay tax to New York State. New York State residency audits can be burdensome and intrusive. We can assist you in planning to take the appropriate measures to change your domicile. We can assist you in filing the first non-resident tax return, or if you receive a New York State Residency Audit notice. If you need assistance, please reach out to me or your CTBK contact. I'm Jon Pellish, and this is CTBK Face Value.